Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well today, and I hope your weekend has been good. Now, today I've got a quick little video for you, a little DIY project for you on your Sunday afternoon, and it's got to do with cutting down your arrow shafts, because at some point in your archery journey, you're going to want to get into tuning arrows. Now, let me caution you a little bit about tuning arrows. Before you start down this path, you want to make sure that your fundamentals are good. Your form needs to be consistent and repeatable, and your anchor needs to be consistent and repeatable. If those two things are not on point, then trying to tune arrows can be a bit frustrating. And the reason is because you may take some shots when you're tuning your arrows and you think, man, those arrows just suck, when it could be something that you're doing in the shot cycle that's affecting that arrow flight. So you really want to make sure that those two fundamentals are on point before you start tuning arrows. Now, that being said, one of the biggest expenses you're going to come across is something to cut down your arrow shafts. And cutting down the arrow shaft is really, you're going to be doing that to affect the dynamic spine or affect the length of the arrow because of your draw length or other factors that go into that. Now mine is just really affecting the dynamic spine of that. So I got to looking around online, and I was looking at a professional arrow cutter, which is one here. Now that thing cost about 184 bucks. And the thing about it is, I read the reviews, and some of them are good, and some of them are bad, and some of them are kind of in the middle, lukewarmish, if you will. And I thought, why would I spend $184 on something that I could possibly build a lot cheaper for myself that I know will work in my situations? So what I did is I got to searching around for a compact, smaller saw that I could use for this purpose, and what I came up with was this, the Drill Master 120 volt 2-inch benchtop cutoff saw. Now I picked this up at Harbor Freight for about 39 bucks, tax included. It was about 43, 45, something like that. No, it was about 42, because I actually picked up some other stuff too. But that being said, I picked this up and I brought it home, checked it out, and I tested it out a little bit. And then I put it together and put it on a bench, if you will, or put it on a stand, not a stand really. I just put it together so I could make it portable, movable, and it was ready to go whenever I needed to cut down some arrows. So that being said, let's go inside and I'm going to show you my setup. I'm going to show you what I did to put it together, take a few test cuts with it to show you that it does actually work, and to show you what I did to make it a repeatable process each and every time that I go through to actually tune and build arrows for my shooting. So really, like I said before, the only expense that I've got in this arrow saw is this, the mini cutoff tool. Again, this was $39 at Harbor Freight. So that is the only thing I actually paid for out of pocket to build this arrow saw. Some other things you're going to need. You're going to need a piece of maybe 4.5. You could actually use a 2x4 if you wanted to, but 4.5 by 1 inch. This is just plain Jane pine. Nothing special to it. I also used a dowel I had from another project. I cut a piece off of this to make an arrow rest. I'll show you that in a second. And then I used some aluminum flat stock. This is 1/16 of an inch thick, so it's very easy to bend, very pliable. And I'm going to show you why you need a piece of flat stock if you decide to build something like this. So again, a quick, easy DIY project. Took me a couple hours to do and really just tinkering around with it. So let me quit talking. Let me show you the arrow saw that I built, and let me show you how it actually works. Okay, so with this being mounted to the board, it's actually stable. It's not going to move around on you. Now the thing you'll notice here is this won't go all the way down. This does have a safety release right here. This button here, this actually, you depress that so you can drop the arrow to its full lowered height. You have an on-off button here. The only thing about this saw, there are no safeties on the blade, and I'll show you that here in a second. Once you turn the blade on, it is spinning, so that's the thing you're going to have to be mindful of. But it does have the safety release here, so you can drop it all the way, so you're not accidentally going to push it down on your finger. Now the reason I put the stop in here with the 1/16 aluminum flat stock is because I wanted to make repeatable cuts, and to be able to do that, what I have to do is make sure that every time I go to take a little bit more off the arrow, that I'm taking the exact same amount off each and every time. That way it'll help your tuning process a lot. So what I did was I actually took the arrow, I placed it in the holder, and then I dropped the actual blade down on the arrow itself, And then I took the measurement from where the blade was over to where I wanted the stop to be mounted. And that's how I got my 1/4 inch. And what this does, it creates a repeatable cut sequence so I can get just the right amount off of the arrow whenever I'm in the tuning process. Now, the thing about the clamp here, you don't want to put too much pressure on it because you can crush your carbon arrow. And really, just a very light amount of pressure holds this in place, because on the inside of this stop here, there's a groove cut. So it actually lines the arrow up very nicely. And again, the 1/4 inch stop, no matter how many times I cut this, is going to give me a clean 1/4 inch cut each and every time. Okay, the blade itself is under this little sheath here. This is very nice. It's a quick access. You can take it off and access your blade. Right now it's got a metal blade on it, but the teeth are very fine. I was a little bit concerned how this was actually going to cut whenever I was putting my arrows through it, but actually, because of such a fine tooth pattern on this, it actually cuts really clean. I don't have to do any sanding or anything to finish off that edge. Now, you could, and I possibly will, whenever I pick some up, pick up some 2-inch abrasive cutoff discs. I think those will work a little bit better than this, especially when it comes to the metal. I've not tried an aluminum arrow in this yet, but we're going to in this video. But again, this is just a very quick access. You can get this cover off, and you can change out your blade whenever you need to, or swap out to the abrasive disc. And as you can see, once you release that, then you're all the way down to the arrow. So the next thing to do is really just cut some arrows and see how it actually does. All right, now we've got power. Again, your safety stop is going to allow it to go all the way down, and you just want to turn it on. You don't want to rush the blade through the carbon. You want to take it slow, because trying to force it through there is going to leave a cut that's less than clean, less than optimal, and it's probably not going to be straight either. So let's take another cut on that. Again, that is a repeatable cut. As you can see here, they're both the same length. So very nice, very easy. That's what you're looking for, something that's going to be able to reproduce the cut time and time again. And again, the cut is actually clean, if you can see it there. No burring, no damaging of the carbon. It's actually just a clean cut. Okay, so now we're going to take and try one of my aluminum arrows. This is one that got damaged, as you can see, by missing the target. Rocks are no friend to arrows, remember that. All right, so we're going to put it in here. We're going to look for a 1/4 inch again. That's all we're going to do. Now, hopefully this will cut through relatively cleanly. I think an abrasive cutoff disc would actually work better with the aluminum arrows, but we'll see how it does. So it cut through the aluminum quite nicely. No issues with that at all. Might just need to be cleaned up maybe on the inside just lightly with a rat tail file, but all in all, it actually cut through clean. It did bog a little, which was, I kind of expected that. I mean, really it's not that high power of a motor, but that being said, it did cut through both the carbon and the aluminum quite nicely. So there you go, a DIY arrow cutter. I think it works really great for $40. And again, all the other stuff that I used to put it together, I mean, it's just stuff I had lying around from other projects. The thing about it is, it cuts really nice, if you can see that. It cuts really square. I don't have any issues with that. I do think that an abrasive cutoff disc would work better for the aluminum variety, just so you don't have to clean up as much with it. Because even though it is a very fine blade, it does leave a little bit of a roughness around there. And again, you can clean that up with a file. No harm, no foul on that. But again, the cleaner the cut when you do it, the less work you have to do after that. But again, for $40, I can't complain, because really turned out quite nice. So it really saves a lot of hassle. I remember having to use my Dremel and try to hold it straight whenever I was tuning and cutting down arrows. But that did really nice. I mean, if you can see that, it's in there really nice, really square. No cleanup necessary on the carbon. Definitely going to have to clean up on the aluminum. But again, it's a square cut, and that's what you're looking for. So hopefully this little DIY project gave you an idea. Maybe you can go out and build your own arrow cutter when you get into tuning your arrows and getting it set up that's optimal to you and your shooting. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked it. Now, if you're new to my channel, you'll find quickly that I'm a DIY kind of guy. Anything that I can build myself gives me more enjoyment, and in the long run, I know once I build it and put it together, it's going to suit my needs perfectly, and I don't have to worry about other manufacturing defects, flaws, or anything like that, because I build it to what I need. So one of the things I do want to say before I close this video out is my subscribers, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm really floored by the amount of subscribers that I have now from doing these archery videos. It is so much appreciated that you think enough of these videos to subscribe. And as we get closer to that 1,000 subscriber mark, I'm really thinking about doing a giveaway, something that I can give back to the archery community that follows me and hangs out with me. Just my way of saying thank you. So as we get closer to that, I'll be putting something together that I think you'll really enjoy. So thank you so much for coming by. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I appreciate it. And also, please leave comments below. I love your comments. Let me know what you do to set up your arrows whenever you go to tune. I'd love to hear from you on that aspect of it. Just let me know. Put it in the comments below. And again, I welcome all comments, good, bad, right, wrong, or indifferent. I respond to everything. So thank you so much. I do appreciate it. As always, I hope you have a great day, a better day tomorrow, and a wonderful week ahead of you. And until next time.